Welcome to Embracing Infinity, exploring the infinite oneness in the space of love and truth. Host Jennifer Rose is an international spiritual medium, healer, channeler, mentor, and transformational guide. Her focus is encouraging individuals to know themselves within the lens of their divine heart and highest potential, to evolve within the frequency of love and peaceful harmony. Now, here's your host, Jennifer Rose.
Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to Embracing Infinity. I am Jennifer Rose, and we are on the Sacred Spiral Network. Big shout out to our producer, Kelly Brickle, for making all of this possible for all of us. I hope you are doing fine and well this beautiful Friday. We're still in summer. The sun is still glowing, so it's a beautiful day to be together for everyone. I'm so excited to shortly be bringing on my beautiful special guest, Donna Bond. We're going to have the most lovely discussion here today. So I'm very, very excited about that. And I hope all is going well for everybody here. Couple of quick announcements. Hi, Jennifer. Thanks for joining us, love. A couple of quick announcements. Coming up at 1 p.m. Pacific time, Kelly will be going live as well with her special guest, Alice Trevorrow, who we love to call the Sparkle Queen of Scotland. She's a good friend of all of ours. So have a quick lunch when we're finished here with Embracing Infinity, and then hop back on to see Kelly's live with Alice. You don't want to miss that as well. Secondly, this Sunday, I am hosting my Sunday spiritual service, and we have the spiritual medium Simon Stone is going to be our guest medium and inspirational speaker. We are looking forward to having him joining us for the first time on For the Love of Spirit. And Miss Fran Pierce will be doing her spiritual poetry for us as well. It's a beautiful time to come together for love and community. We have mediumship, healing, inspiration, poetry, music, and lots of love. So hope you can join us for that. And you can find all of that on my website, mediumjenniferrose.com. I want to say hi to Stacia, who's joining us as well. Sorry, my comments are off here. There, I fixed it. Okay. I want to say hi to Stacia and to Miss Nancy Murtala. Hey, girl. Nancy is on Team Angel for the Love of Spirit as well. So happy to see you, love. And with that, let's go ahead and get started, everybody. So I'm going to speak with you for just a few minutes, and then we will have Donna Bond coming on. But I found something that I wanted to share with you all. And it's a little something by Brene Brown, who I'm sure many of you are aware of. Want to give a shout out to Michael Zinn. Hello, hello. He was just on Embracing Infinity. We had talked all about consciousness, and that was so much fun. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Michelle Krantz. Good to see you. Okay, my loves. So here we go. This is Brene Brown, and this just popped up in my memories. It was just something I had shared years ago. And she says this. Hi, Jeffrey. She says this: the mark of a wild heart is living out the paradox of love in our lives. It's the ability to be tough and tender, excited and scared, brave and afraid, all in the same moment. It's showing up in our vulnerability and our courage, both being fierce and kind. She adds to it in the text section above her quote: always straddling the tension and trying not to tap out, forever convincing ourselves that we can hold so many contradictory pieces and feelings. Not only are tension and contradictory pieces okay and normal, they're the magic sauce. Carl Jung called the paradox one of our most valued spiritual possessions and a great witness to the truth. He wrote, only the paradox comes anywhere near to comprehending the fullness of life. Sometimes beautiful, sometimes terrible, always deeply human. Gotta love Brene. I mean, can you word that much more perfectly than that? Um, Beautiful little springboard for all of us here today, because being human means it's not going to be rosy and perfect all the time, nor is it going to be difficult and tragic all the time. And it can be both all at the same time. One thing that I have been inspired to share is that even if things are going wrong in your life or not where you want them to be, you can still hold the joyful moments at the same time, because it may feel to part of you that if something's going wrong, I need to focus all of that and I'm not allowed to feel what's actually going right. But you can hold all of that in one big, beautiful, infinite loop to embrace, right? It's kind of like when we are in grief, if we lose somebody to spirit world, or if we're grieving some other kind of personal loss, you can hold that grief, and as Nadia said on a show weeks ago, Nadia Barami, it's a little treasure chest that you hold in your heart. You can hold that grief, but you are still allowed to experience the joy. It doesn't mean that your loved one isn't missed, right? You can hold that and you can still feel joy. Be here in this world. Enjoy this life. Live this life to the fullest. Because everybody who loves you, whether they're in the spirit world or here, would want that for you. Everybody who loves you would want you to be happy living this life, especially for those who have gone to spirit world, because they have the outstanding awareness that every moment counts. Every moment has value. And while it may feel very long and dragged out being human, to the spiritual side of us, our higher self, our soul, the infinite, eternal us that we are, it's a very short amount of time. And so we came here to pack it all in. Lots of experience, lots of feelings, lots of emotions, lots of thoughts. And it does get very contradictory. You can hear different sides and perspectives playing out in your awareness, trying to figure out what's true for you, what's right, what's wrong. It can get very confusing. And this is why taking some time to ground and go take the time to do the soul searching. And they remind me of, because I complain about how long it takes to get through the stories of life. And they say, yeah, but you need that time because you're exploring all of the perspectives and you got to get down into that little gold nugget, the part that you're going to take with you to make your decisions as you move forward. So I go, okay, you can still speed it up a little. Anyways, so I hope that that resonates with you all. I hope that you can connect with that and ponder that, and that it is okay if you don't know what to do. It is okay if it takes time to get through a process. And you may get feedback either from yourself or from others that you're supposed to do it this way, or why are you not doing it this way, or why are you allowing this, or why are you repeating that. It's not done until it's done. Everything has a purpose and a reason and a meaning. So if I could take that burden off of you, that it's not done until it's done, and you will know when it is. And you still may question and doubt, and that's okay too, because it's all part of the beautiful, magical, very paradoxical journey that it is. So with that, thank you for listening. And I hope that resonated for you. Trust the process, Jennifer. You've got it, girl. I want to say hi to Jeffrey, who's joined us, and to Paul Bannister. Hey, hey. And and there's Jennifer on there too. So thank you guys for hanging in there and joining us as well. So I'm so excited to have Donna Bond on. We've known each other for several years, and it was a beautiful divine synchronicity that brought us together. She is a spiritual coach, a best-selling author, and all things magical and beautiful. So let's go ahead and bring on Donna Bond.
Jennifer Rose, thank you. Hello.
How are you? How are you today?
Jennifer Rose, I wish that I could stop being impressed with your level of attunement, but I just can't, because that Brene Brown quote and your comments and everything that you just shared could not be more perfect of a lead in to what I'm here to share with all of your viewers today. When you invited me to the show, within a very short amount of time, I got a very clear, very specific download from Spirit that this is what you're going to talk about. And you and I never spoke about that. We never conversed about it. And so, yeah, I am just so happy to be here, feeling so aligned and guided, and really just want to be of service today. So thank you for having me.
That's so beautiful, Donna, and thank you for being here with us. Quick hello to Casey and to Vicky, who have just joined us as well. Thank you for being here for us. Casey, we're not doing readings on this show. This is a spiritual discussion-based show, but if you have a question about what we're discussing, you can go ahead and put that in, and we will try to address that for you if you're wanting a little bit more information. But we have something very beautiful to share with you. Now, Donna, I know we met about it's probably been about 7 years now, I think. Yeah, it's probably been about 7 years. Like I said, it was a beautiful synchronicity. And you were giving a little talk at a spa type of place that I felt drawn to go to. And we kind of locked eyes and kind of knew we knew each other. We knew there was something there. And then we've kind of been friends and colleagues ever since. And we've watched each other grow. I've watched you become an author. You've moved to Costa Rica, all of these big, beautiful changes in your life. And I've gotten to know your husband, who's an artist, and Suri is connected with you as well. So we're this beautiful, connected family. So it's gorgeous to see how it's all played out. So good job, God. With that, I know you have this beautiful presentation. I want to say hi to C. Megan, who's just joined us as well. I know you have this beautiful presentation for us. Could you share just a little bit more about yourself that you'd like everybody to know, and then we'll get into this beautiful download that you have.
Yeah, thank you so much. Well, for 28 years, I put my high heel shoes on the rungs of the corporate ladder and climbed my way to the top. And when I turned 44 years old, I looked around and I thought to myself, well, all this isn't all that. And I found myself deeply, deeply unfulfilled, which I know now is all part of the plan. It was all part of the plan because my soul was calling me to something else, to something more, to something greater, to something more fulfilling and more alive. And so on the advice, actually, it's so funny. When I had shared on For the Love of Spirit, there was a medium in the audience who had given me a message through a reading that I was having. And she said, Donna, your guides are spelling it out for me. Spiritual psychology. And at the time I said, what in the hell is spiritual psychology? Well, I ended up enrolling myself in a master's program in spiritual psychology at the University of Santa Monica. And believe it or not, that was a decade ago. It's hard to believe it was 2013, 11 years ago. And I haven't looked back since. I keep stepping forward into my calling, and I keep reinventing myself and transforming myself and my life and my work and the experiences that I'm having through following the call of my soul, through following the call of my spirit, which has taken a lot of courage, right? Which has taken a lot of undoing of my local logical mind and who I knew myself to be, and really what I was being called to. So today I am the executive's spiritual coach. And I work with a lot of women who are in the corporate world. They keep me as their sort of secret weapon on the side. And I love it. today I'm going to share a process with everybody that I think that we will all find really helpful, given just how much stuff continues to unfold on the planet. And I don't know about you, but boy, this big moon, this super moon on Monday for me was like a butt kicker.
Very emotional one. It really was. Brought through a lot of emotions.
Yeah. A lot. So, yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Beautiful. I want to say hi to Cheyenne too, who's just joined us. So beautiful, Donna, and you just have so many beautiful gifts, but most importantly, just such a beautiful light, in this world, and spreading love and wisdom and doing your part. And so I just want to give you gratitude for that as well, because it's lovely to feel your presence. It's just being in your presence is a lovely gift. Hi, Katie. Good to see you. And one thing that popped out was you said how you keep reinventing yourself. And that's an important key there too, because in the spiritual journey, there is this fear that we go through when we start to transform, and in this more intense and more rapid way than we may have done for several years before that, right? And it's this sort of the fear of like the annihilation of self kind of thing. And once you get how it works, dark night of the soul, everybody, once you get how this works, you realize, that we're multidimensional. So we've always been transforming and changing anyways, but now we're kind of like, like part of the process more. We're like joining the process with our soul, with the lead of our soul, kind of holding hands in it, and then embracing the change. Okay, now we're doing this. Okay, now we're changing into that. Now we're going that way too. And all of that is beautiful and magical as it is. So it gives us permission to change. And we're like, but who was I before and who am I now? And, it's hard to give up the version of ourselves, again, who we think ourselves to be. And we don't lose it. We just keep gaining other aspects of self and putting it all together, and it just grows. It's like adding more ingredients to the soup, and the soup just gets better and better with time. So,
yes.
Tell us about what you received that you'd love to share with us.
Yes. Well, it's just so perfect. And again, you're just giving me like the most exquisite lead-ins. On my own journey, the longer I have been on the spiritual path, the more I am aware it's about loving my humanness. And the process that I'm going to share with everybody today is just that. It's called relating to yourself with more compassion and acceptance. And then the subtitle is letting your higher self love your human self. And I just love this idea of having our presence, right? We all have a presence. We all have this higher self. We all have this unconditional source of this big loving that when we begin to relate to that, almost like a parent, right? Almost like the divine mother who is with us all of the time, no matter what we're going through in our human experience. When we can begin to make that connection, there is something magical that happens. There's a releasing, there's a letting go, there's a healing that can occur. And I know with this big supermoon and just the nature of the time that we're in on the planet right now, with the rising of consciousness everywhere, this is a global event that is happening. A lot is coming up. A lot is coming up for a lot of people. And, as we walk a conscious path and become more self-responsible for our own emotional body and for the inner experience that we're having, this is a tool that can support people in clearing their emotional body. And, clearing our emotional body is as important as clearing our physical body. We know this. We have spiritual hygiene, and we've got our energetic body, our emotional body, our mental body, and our physical body. And this today is really an invitation to give your emotional body, that energy in motion, a way to be seen and heard and related to from the perspective of your higher self, from the perspective of your presence, watching over whatever is unfolding with tenderness and love, with compassion and acceptance, with an unconditional loving for whatever is happening in your human space.
Yes, 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 yes to that. Right there with you.
Yeah. So I think we have a screen share. If we can put that up. And anybody who is with us today can go ahead and like grab a link to this. I think after, where it'll be in the show notes. So you can use this process and take this home and be able to support yourself with this beautiful activity. So there's 5 parts to it. And the first part is to acknowledge. This is a crucial moment because most of us have been taught to suppress or repress or deflect or defer or push away our emotions. And of course, we don't want to lose it in a place where it's not professional or okay to be able to express our emotions. But expressing our emotions with conscious intention gives us the opportunity to diffuse that energy in such a way that it can return us then to a peaceful, calm, loving, neutral state. From there, then we can go to live our life. So this first important piece. It's a crucial moment to acknowledge, hey, something's coming up right now. Something is coming up right now. And I, have an example. I received an email. This actually happened several years ago, and it was just such a beautiful lesson. I received this email, and what was written in it was bringing up shame inside of me. And I knew right then and there, like I had a choice that I could either keep working and like ignore it and push it away and push it down, or I could be with it. And I got up and removed myself from my desk, from my office, and I went into my bedroom and I just brought myself really through this process. So this is really a healing opportunity because every time we make the choice to acknowledge the emotions that we're having, we are beginning the process of healing. Just through our willingness to shine the light on something that we may not have been willing to up until now. So you can think of this acknowledgement almost like you're giving your awareness to a small child who's vying for your attention, right? Like you can hear it, ma, 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 dragging on your coattails. See me, see me, see me, hear me, hear me. What would it be like if we started doing this for ourselves? Does this resonate for you, Jennifer?
Oh, totally. Yeah. It's like we need to hold that, like, little precious baby bird or kitten or puppy or baby, how would we treat them? So why wouldn't we treat our feelings and emotions and that inner child of us the same way? And
Yeah.
I love how you took the time out, because being positive is a very good thing. I try to be positive and stay high as much as I can, but sometimes there are those moments where, no, you need to just stop and just be with what's moving through you. That's actually a better way to move it through faster, and acknowledge it and witness this. I was just practicing it this weekend because I was feeling the full moon too. And I was having things that were coming through me, and kind of being the mother to those little parts of me that I was aware of. And the story that they were telling wasn't necessarily the whole truth, because we don't know the whole parts of the story. It's just what we're perceiving it to be. And that's what I was just trying to practice out of, just like loving it and loving it. Because that's, once it's seen and heard, I'm getting chills as I say this, it allows it to be healed, and then kind of move. And then you move on to a better expression, better emotion,
Yeah.
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 Beautiful. Beautiful.
So the next piece is to allow and express. And, this is where you want to let it loose. free the flow, ride the wave, flow with the go. Just allow and surrender to whatever wants to come forward. Give this feeling the dignity of being heard and seen and felt. Grant your feelings permission to come forward. Let yourself express through sound or crying or beating a pillow or yelling or screaming or whimpering, whatever it is. Don't censor yourself and don't hold back. Keep allowing whatever wants to come forward to just come forward, knowing that with each tear that you cry and each emotion you release and set free, you're experiencing healing. And this is part of our human expression. It's like we get to experience this because we're in a body, because we're human, because we made the choice to come down here to planet Earth, to have this 3-dimensional adventure that we're all on. And that's actually the next part of this, is embodying it, being with whatever is coming forward, being carried by the current of this emotion. And this is a really, really important point that I want to make, this next part. You don't need to make sense out of it. This is where we get ourselves in trouble. This is where we stop the flow of the feeling. We stop the flow of the energy because we pull ourselves back into the mental realm, or we pull ourselves back into the mind. And we ask ourselves, why am I feeling like this? And, I feel like this because that person did that thing. And then we go into victim and blame. And, that takes us out of just the sheer release of the expression that we have the opportunity to have. This is a process of allowing your being to have the discomfort of the emotion without the involvement or the judgment of your head, the judgment of our mind, because this is how, and we've been taught really to control our emotions and to judge, when we don't feel okay. And I want to go on a little tangent about that too, because I think sometimes we buy into this storyline that we're supposed to be happy-go-lucky, 24/7, 365, like we're supposed to be positive all of the time. My sense is that causes anxiety, actually, because then we have this pressure cooker of unprocessed stuff that wants to come forward, that needs to come forward. And if we'll just allow it to come forward, we free ourselves from all of that pressure.
Yeah. Perfectly said. Real quick, I just wanted to say hi to Iris, to Marion, Vivian, Annie, and Ed. Thank you guys for coming on. We're in a beautiful space right here, and I love that everything you said is just perfect. I remember I watched a Matt Kahn video many years ago, and he says, "What if Judgment Day was your feelings telling you how you treated them when you were in the living?" And it says enough to like really make you think about it, and it's meaningful because it makes an impact right there, and what's also coming to my mind is that we may not have all had good role models of how to do this process. It's what we've always wanted from our parents, from our teachers, from our peers, but may have never received, and we're trying to figure out how to get that right. So this is beautiful because we're giving a process that we can do it for ourselves as much as we may want it from other people. And what a gift that is. Practice that, doing it for yourself. That's a gift. That's a huge gift.
It is such
but
a
I
gift.
think that's one of the reasons why we suppress and push back and deny and things, rejecting emotions, rejecting experiences, rejecting thoughts and feelings doesn't make a process of learning and experience. And we also can understand that we don't have to attach them as completely the 100% truth. So we can have an emotion or a feeling that coming into our awareness that may be what we would call negative. It doesn't make you a bad person, and it doesn't mean you really feel that way. It just means it's an experience channeling through your reality. And how can you love and appreciate it, right? It's
Yes.
okay. Like, it's just okay. It's just there. What can we do with that? Give it love.
Yeah. Yes. And that's a perfect segue into the next section, which is
How about
honor.
that? We're right on.
Really honoring. Yeah. I mean, it's so beautiful. And I like this, the point that you're making about rejection. It's like when we don't accept our feelings, we're rejecting ourselves. We're rejecting ourselves. Now, we don't want to indulge in a false story, right? And that's like a whole other conversation. We'll do a different teaching on that. But when we are experiencing a trigger or experiencing emotion, giving ourselves the acceptance of it, the acceptance of that as a way to heal it and to process it. So as we stay present to our own pain, as we stay present to our own discomfort, and this is really the part about bringing our higher self in here, and we can shift our consciousness in such a way that we can make that connection that my higher self is above me and behind me and below me and before me. And like, I always like to think with all of my younger parts, like I think I've got you and God's got me. And so just staying present to our own pain and discomfort, calling to your awareness for a fleeting second, gratitude that we have the ability to feel. Thank the universe for your human senses that have this beautiful innate ability to experience whatever it is that's moving through you. This is the process of honoring the experience that you're having and honoring all of it, all of the crazy life that we're in. You are a spiritual being making your way through this epic human adventure.
Yes.
And then, this last piece, I don't know, maybe I should put this at the beginning of the process, because this is the piece that underpins the whole process. And it is this tender-hearted compassion, without judgment, as if you're comforting a young child that you love deeply. Bring that tender, loving compassion to yourself through the entire process. Call upon the wisdom and the unconditional acceptance and loving and compassion of your higher self to embrace and love your human self.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I'm just feeling the beautiful presence of spirit, of everyone who is receiving this message, everyone who is ready to open their heart to themselves. We can stop the screen share now, but I hope everyone finds that helpful. I, went to the School of Hard Knocks and had to learn the hard way about all of this through a breast cancer journey. And it was through that journey that I really began to understand at a deeper level how awful I was to myself, how hard I was on myself, how critical and judgmental I had been with my thoughts, my feelings, my behaviors. And breast cancer was such an invitation for deep nurturing and deep loving. And I am of the belief that our emotions are a gateway to spirit. And when we're willing to be in that emotional realm, we are opening ourselves to the divine. We're opening ourselves to divine intervention and to divine loving. And this is how healing happens, you know? So anything we can do to support that process and bringing in our higher self to love all of the messy, imperfect human parts of ourself, I think is a beautiful first step.
Yeah. It's kind of like a mic drop moment there. It's like, it just kind of says it all. That's so beautiful. Suri's joined us too. She's here. And hey, Stacia. I just want to say hi. I know our girls are here. I wanted to add and ask you, because self-love can be so hard, and probably because of people's childhoods and, all the different traumas they've endured and how they've been treated, so I think it might take some time and practice to get it, and that's okay too, right?
And that's okay too, Jennifer. Gosh, I just love that you're sharing this. I've been doing this work every day since 2013, and what a gift and a blessing that I have these tools and that I continue to evolve the relationship that I have with myself, because it's always changing and always growing and always transforming. And it's not always easy. And, for those of us who are on the path and who do the work, sometimes there can be even more judgment and criticism, because it's like, oh, you're not perfect yet. You haven't figured this out yet. And that's just another call for love. It's another opportunity to be really gentle with ourselves. I had such a beautiful example of tenderness and softness and gentleness through my professor, Dr. Mary Holnick. We called her the Velvet Hammer. She just was so tender and gentle, no matter what truth she was helping you see, and it was such a beautiful example for me, who I grew up in Connecticut, with a hard and gruff exterior and pulling myself up by my bootstraps, which was sort of a trend in my family line. And she really just illustrated the permission for softness. And I think that is also just such an important and beautiful message for so many strong women out there. I mean, I don't know if you saw last night's debate, but incredible watching Kamala in her softness and in her strength. It was really quite beautiful.
Yeah, I didn't get to see it, but I can imagine that would have been a beautiful experience to see a feminine leader expressing those parts of self, for giving permission for others to do the same. Yeah. We have a lot of female leaders out there, in all different walks of life, with all different, belief systems. And it is very hard for women to love themselves, and for men too. But we've been taught to be polite and to put ourselves second to everybody else for most of our lives as women too. So can we give some homage and respect to the people who are out there, leading and just being themselves, even if like you don't believe whatever they believe, like have respect for the ladder they've had to climb, those very large mountains, and all of the judgment and criticism they've had to endure, and the self love and respect that they've had to garner within themselves to make it that far. That's a lot. That's not an easy journey. And it starts with self-love. It starts with self-love. And that is our key to personal freedom, the freedom everybody's wanting. We all want to feel free. We all want to feel some peace of mind. And loving yourself is not selfish. Caring for yourself, separate but integral, is not selfish. It's part of the process. I do a lot of things to care for myself. And I do it as a practice of self-love, taking care of me, my health and my body and all of this, because I have the energy and the stamina to do the work I do because I'm quite busy. But it's a practice for me of trying to love myself more, because I figured out, even with all the transformation I've been through, Donna, I got to a place where I realized I was not just the separate personality, where I was very in touch with the higher awareness of me, but I still am living a human life like everybody else. So I can channel lots of divine wisdom, knock on my wall. That did not exempt me from being human, going through
Right.
that process.
And
So that's
as long as we're here.
Enlightenment. It is the myth of enlightenment that you're going to, all of a sudden, lose that. And where was I going with that? But so I still go through this process too and practice self-care. But there I am. I figured out that the more I was willing to put the time in for me in all aspects, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, not just one, but all of them together,
Yes.
and be willing
Yes.
to be human, because it's really fun over there
Yes.
In those realms. Oh yeah. Yes. I love it. Be willing to be human and live this life the best that I can make it as Jennifer.
Yes.
That's a lot. It's a lot.
That's what my opening quote was about. The longer I've been on the spiritual path, the more I know it's about loving my humanness and all the messy parts of it. And, I love, of course, all the self-care practices that we all try to make time for. What I have discovered about self-love is it really is about the relationship that I have with myself. And so, this process that I shared with everybody today, that is an act of self-loving when you're willing to create time and space for your own emotions, when you're willing to not abandon yourself at your moment of need, when you're willing to be by your own side and to start being a cheerleader for yourself and being on the sidelines, rooting yourself on instead of kicking yourself when you're down. Self-love is making a commitment to yourself and actually keeping it. And the more we do that, the more we engage in these acts of self-love, we build all of the things that we're looking for: the self-trust, the inner esteem, that authentic empowerment, deep confidence, that grounded surety, the sovereignty of our being. Those are the natural derivatives of this relationship, right? And it's not about being selfish. It's not about that. This is an act of self-honor.
Yeah. Yeah, you make me want to cry. It's so beautiful. Everybody here is relating to what you're saying too. And I thank you all for your beautiful comments. And if anyone has questions, please feel free to share those with us too. And I think about what a huge gift, because we want so much for other people to do that for us. But Like I said, what a gift to learn for yourself, because then you will attract more of that. You will attract more of people mirroring that love back to you as well. I just read a little something that was on Facebook. It was a conversation from the Alice in Wonderland story she had with the rabbit, and he was kind of like, I was a little bit, like, whoa, because I hadn't read that section before, but it was a little bit like he was withholding love from Alice to make her learn to love herself first, and so I felt a little ooh as I read it, but I get it. I get it why spirit would put you in a place to get you to do it for you, to give you that gift, And I understand that it could be hard because, especially depending what generation we're from, nowadays parenting has come a long way. But we go back into the generations of when we were kids, we probably got in trouble anytime we expressed anger or upset or frustration or jealousy or any of that stuff. We probably got in trouble and isolated for it or something like that. A lot of people would have that kind of program in their system. So this is a time where we could just say, how about no more of that? How about we're not doing that this year? How about we're not doing that next year? We're not doing that to ourselves anymore. How about we're not doing that for the rest of this time we're here on earth? How about that?
And the more we treat ourselves with that unconditional compassion, no matter what it is, no matter what we're experiencing, no matter what we're going through, the more we radiate that, the more we then embody it, and it outpours from us, from who we are. And this is why we notice people who have presence, and we just want to be in their aura, soaking up some of their good light and their good juju, because that's radiating from their person.
Yeah.
So I think it pays dividends.
Yeah, very true. And like you said, why do we want to abandon ourselves? Everybody has fear of abandonment. It's part of the human condition, fear of abandonment, fear of rejection, fear of betrayal. And we're all going to experience it, whether we like it or not. But if we don't abandon ourselves, we might just radiate such a presence that no one else would do it either. So that's a gift too. I wanted to come to Ed here. He says, we hear this a lot. A great man is always backed by a powerful woman. Now we are finally seeing that a woman can be powered by a great man and be made to be seen as she is to be. Thank you for that, Ed. That was very beautiful of you. Thank you for saying that. And then I'm trying to read the bottom one. Oh, there it is. Finally, someone else sees the same as I saw. Oh, thank you. Hence the rabbit in the hole. Yes, that rabbit hole. Once you guys go down it on your spiritual awakening, there's no coming out. Just when you think, I want to go back to my old life as it was, it actually doesn't seem so bad now that I'm looking at it. You look back at your old life and go, can I get that back? Like, this is a little bit too crazy, God. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way, unfortunately. You stay in it, but there's more magic and gifts to be had from that. It's just beautiful, continuous exploration, and like you said, epic adventure. So we're just like so in sync and on the same page with that too, Donna. I know that you have something special that you wanted to share with us. You've got a retreat upcoming, and anything else that you've got coming up that you want to share with all of us. I believe this is an in-person retreat. Is that correct?
Yes, I will be in person in California, in San Diego. The dates are October 17th through the 20th. And the retreat is called Loving Your Sweet Self. So it's all about what we're talking about. It's all about self-love and really drawing the distinctions inside of yourself between the differences between self-care and self-love. This is not a self-care retreat where you get to go to the spa and get body treatments. This is about doing the inner work. This is really going through a process like the one that I shared today, but actually talking with a partner about a real life situation that is occurring for you, and being able to open your mind and your heart to seeing the situation from the perspective of your higher self. When we look through the lens of our soul, we have the unique opportunity to see everything through the lens of loving, through the lens of equanimity and neutrality. And this is the challenge for us humans, because we're always trapped in duality. We're trapped in a polarity. We're trapped in the pendulum swing constantly. In every moment of every day, we are measuring or judging. This is right, this is wrong, this is good, this is bad, this is up, this is down, right? We're always in this space. When we're there, that, all of my dear friends watching us, is the cause of our suffering. That is the cause of our suffering. And it's also the business of our mind, right? We love our mind. So many brilliant minds out there. Yet when we're trapped in the mind, we're either obsessing about the future or mulling over the past. And that takes us out of our center. It takes us out of our presence. So we've got these positive and negative polarities also working in tandem with the future and the past. And when we stay in that space, we're swirling. And it's very difficult there to hear our higher wisdom, hear the call and the direction of our soul and what our soul is calling us to, our purpose, our higher mission, for the reason that we took embodiment. And so during this experience, we will do practices that help us come into this zero point, this center point, which is really a gateway for our spiritual nature. It's a gateway for spirit, for our higher self, giving us the opportunity to see the challenges in our life through a different lens, through this lens that can suddenly give you the, oh my goodness, it's all perfect, like all of it. Now I can see why this tragedy happened and this person betrayed me and why I was wronged by that. It all makes sense in the blink of an instant when we can be in that space and place of neutrality, giving ourselves the ability to see through the lens of our divine wisdom.
Yeah, that's beautiful. It's the embracing and holding, but detaching, and we mean that in a good way, not in a what do you call it? Going into another place to escape, but be detaching from the story as being the whole truth, right? Which is what causes that suffering and that need to make it different, that need for people to do it differently, and the letting go of that is very hard. But there is freedom in that. It frees up the energy. It frees the other person to be doing their experience as they're doing it. And we do ours as we're doing it and as we need to go forward too. So I love how you worded that too. And, I don't think law of attraction was originally intended for us to just reject every emotion and feeling we ever experienced. It was just a tool to help us move forward into something better, to help to counter some of the negative thoughts that we do have, right? And to put some positive ones in there. But it didn't mean push away, you're bad, you're bad, you're bad. Like, we don't need more of that. And so we're finally bringing this full circle, right? And it takes some time, but this is an opportunity to really be immersed in the experience and I would imagine, meet a lot of beautiful people and make beautiful connections and be in the energy. And so it's in San Diego, and this is coming up in next month in October. Is that correct? Hi,
Yeah, it's
Michael.
October 17th through the 20th. It's women only. Sorry, guys, but I want to acknowledge all of the divine masculine out there holding space for all of your women. My retreats are incredibly transformative, and using the principles and practices of spiritual psychology, women get life mastery tools that they can use long after the retreat is over. And, this is part of the value in these types of experiences. And where two or more are gathered, we all come together, and there is an elevation as we all hold the intention together for healing and for growth and for transformation. That is realized because we're all doing it together. So it's a very beautiful experience. I have an incredible chef. Her name is Lauren Murch. She will be creating, lunch and dinner for us every day. We'll be set up at a private retreat, or a private estate rather, in Rancho Santa Fe, California. And there's a nearby hotel where people can stay at. They choose to stay at home, they can stay at home. And we'll be together for 4 days, learning how to deepen the relationship that we have with ourselves.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. It'd be nice to have you back in Cali after you've been in Costa Rica for a couple of years now, I believe. So it'll be a nice shift. So hopefully we'll get to hook up in October. That would be really nice to get to visit with each other too. So it'll be so much fun. So I know Kelly has put all of your links in the chat. So you guys can get a hold of Donna, and if you're interested in the retreat, you can look more into that too. But I know it will be beautiful and magical and all things perfect. So self-love has really been the top thing on the menu this year for 2024. It's been very big. I hear it all the time. I see it all the time. So that tells me something big, really big is happening. This mass awakening, this ascension that we're all going through. The spirit world, or the higher selves, the souls, God, universe, whatever you want to call it, is in full force of getting us all ready and moving us into that space of personal empowerment, to have that freedom, to have that knowing who you are, that authenticity. That's where you get that from: loving yourself, from knowing yourself, believing in your connection, not seeing yourself as separate, learning to get rid of the judgment of self, knowing that you're part of a process that all has a reason, it all has a meaning. And therein, we can also let go of the blame of other people, the blame of the story, the blame because we just, there's so much more. And eventually we will understand it all. But there is a gift in that, and we don't have to get this right every time. It's like we'll move back into our personalities, and we'll be in that space, and then we'll move ourselves back out. Oh yeah, okay, I get it. I'm back in the I'm back in this space. Good to be here again. And so it's just like giving ourselves permission to stay with that flow of being human too. So I love that. Hi, Debbie. Debbie's my soul sister. Hope you guys get to meet each other. Hi, Erica. Self-love is the foundation to what's to come. That's perfectly said. As I like to say in relationships, you can't build a castle on quicksand without communication, but the castle of your own life is the foundation. Self-love is that foundation, and that self-love will help with our communication as well, for moving forward into a better reality for everybody and each other. Hey, Fulham, thanks for joining us. Hi, Madison, thanks for joining us. Good to see you. Donna, is there any last words, final thoughts that you would like to leave us all with here today?
Yeah, I just want to acknowledge everyone who is doing their own work, everyone who's doing their own inner work. And, it's been so incredible to witness the awakening, and to witness so many people discovering that they are so much more than their thoughts, than their feelings, than their behaviors, really recognizing that they have this divine essence, this presence. Original wisdom is what I call it. You see my book behind me. That was original wisdom. My definition is this inherent intelligence in all beings that is rooted in unconditional love. And as we wake up to this love, to this beautiful divine presence that we all have, it takes up more space. It takes up more residence, I like to think, in our personality. And so I just acknowledge all of the people who are taking responsibility for unraveling the patterns of their personality. And listen, this is not easy work. It's not easy to look at ourselves. It's not easy to go into the past and come into a neutral place when, you know, our story has been that I've been victimized in some way or wronged in some way. So I just really honor everyone who is making the walk to dissolve these blocks, because these are the blocks to our radiance. These are the blocks to our purpose. These are the blocks to our aliveness, to our vitality, to our enthusiasm, to our inspiration, to all of the things that we think that we're looking for out in the physical world. But they just naturally are a wellspring from inside of us when we can take away the crap that's blocking it, you know? So I just honor everyone in all of the work that they have done and that they are doing and that they will continue to do. They will continue to do, because the vibration on the planet is rising and our individual personal vibration is rising with it. And so anything that is out of discord with it must be transmuted. It's universal law. And, you know, I think that we've sort of hit the tipping point. I think maybe back in 2012, we hit the tipping point where we are on this mass global transformation of awakening, and it will not be stopped. And everybody's got to get on the bus or they're going to get off the planet. So, you know, you're an incredible guide. I'm an incredible guide. Suri, I know, is out there watching us. She's an incredible guide. There are so many incredible guides that know how to hold your hand and walk through the dark with you, to be able to look face to face with these parts of ourselves that we haven't wanted to make eye contact with, and to love them, and to love them, and to accept them, and to just know it's all okay. It's part of being human. It's part of being divine. It's part of why we're all here.
Thank you, Donna. Beautiful. That's beautiful. I just recently shared something, a post that said the death of an illusion is a gift. And I thought, well, that's what those blocks are. They are the illusions that we are not good enough, that we are not worthy of love, that there is something wrong with us, that other people are better than us, you know? And may we let those illusions go. I know that was a prayer to Spirit. I think it was last month, I had a prayer to Spirit, to be freed of the illusions, to see have the clarity as my human personality. Yeah, I know we're all like emotional about this and we're also, everybody's feeling it. So we're in that emotion that we're all feeling, everybody, that's spirit. That's love. We're trying to recognize, what is that? That's love. That's truth. That's deep truth, original wisdom. That little book on the left. And I know we have to go because Kelly's got her show in 45 minutes. She's having Alice Trevorrow, Sparkle Queen of Scotland coming on. Excuse me, you guys don't want to miss that. So get some lunch or some dinner and then come back at 1 o'clock. But thank you, Donna, for joining us. Thank you, everybody, for joining us here on the
Thank you,
live,
everyone.
guests and friends. And may all of this love, all of this wisdom, all of this beauty, all of this healing that we have been soaking in this whole time since we started this live be infinitely multiplied so that every being on this earth, this planet, this realm, and beyond the beyond can feel love, seen, heard, and know that they are pure, beautiful, divine love too. And let those illusions dissolve away so you can see the beauty and magnificence of who you truly are, always have been, and will be. So
And
thank
so
you,
it
thank you,
is.
thank you. Thank you to Kelly for taking good care of us. Love you all. Make sure to come back on at 1 o'clock, y'all, and what's that, 9 o'clock in the UK. So big hugs to everybody.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Infinity. We'll see you next Friday.